Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Kristen Hildebrand. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning, Joanna.
Now, Kristen, it looks like we're going to have some work ahead of us here.
I know it's like I was
right?
telling you, it's like container world. But
I know.
we didn't go into the store. We just went to our closets, and you brought some things from home. So there's a lot of things to think about with containers.
And we don't want people to feel limited. You know, everybody's wanting to put in a garden this year, but we can do a lot of things just in containers.
Oh, yeah. So that is something that is readily available to us. And you can garden in containers, and you've got a lot of advantages to containers. Sometimes more so than the conventional garden space that you grow in the ground. So if you think about everything that's in front of us today, it's above ground, so it's going to warm up a little bit quicker. Two, we're building our soil into these containers, so oftentimes we have more improved drainage. Again, because they're raised, and we're buying some new potting soil mixture every year, so that's an advantage to us. And then two, you can basically take your containers anywhere you want to go. So that's just really exciting to know. If you're new to gardening, this might be an avenue that you want to take.
And a lot of people think of those big concrete planters or the big ceramic planters, and although those are great, we can still do some things with some inexpensive planters.
Absolutely. So we wanted to show some of the containers that you can select from, because there's a lot of different materials, and obviously you can see here there's a lot of shapes and sizes that are very, very different as well. So a couple of the containers that we have, we first want to talk about porous versus non-porous type containers. So the terracotta pot, and then also that burlap bag that we bought that is recommended for growing herbs, those are things that are porous. So they are going to have, they're not going to hold moisture as well, because terracotta doesn't hold water very well.
It'll absorb it in the pot. So.
Yeah, and so whenever the wind goes, it's going to wick away that moisture. That's what I was trying to say there. And then two, with the burlap, because it's kind of a papery sack type thing, it's also going to wick away the moisture. But on the other hand, there are non-porous type containers that we have, and a lot of these are hard plastics. You can see we've got also a 5-gallon bucket, and so those things will actually hold moisture a lot. So think about that in terms of your non-porous versus porous. The other thing I want to mention is also color, Joanna. So we have a lot of different colors. So one thing I want to point out with the 5-gallon bucket here is that it's black. So it's going to get hot whenever that sun hits that container, and it's going to warm up, which is fine. But if you also put that on a concrete pad or any type of blacktop that's close to your driveway, or front entrance to your home, it will wick away a lot of moisture. And so you're constantly going to have to water that in order to keep that moisture there. So you might want to look to something that's a little bit lighter in color. So we have some nice plethora of different colors. Too, with the colors, if you want to have something that pops with your flowers, you might select a container that's got polka dots on it, or something that's a little bit brighter, and still be a lot of fun for the gardener too. Now, I know that you can't see it, but most of these all have drainage holes, I think, with the exception of this one.
Yes, and in the 5-gallon bucket, you would have to put in a drainage hole for it.
Yes, so that's the one thing to consider with container gardens, are that you need to have drainage holes. And the reason being is that we don't want root rot issues to occur, so the drainage holes added, if they don't have it, will help with the drainage itself. So sometimes people will ask, I have quite a bit, and this gets heavy over time, so what do I need to put in there to kind of lighten it? Well, a couple of things to consider there. You might want to put a coffee filter over the drainage holes, and then add your potting soil mixture. Another thing that some gardeners have told me that they've done is they've added some plastic pots that they had used from last year or maybe this year, or maybe even some styrofoam peanuts they put in the bottom, and so it's not as heavy. And then the other thing is, if you plan to move your containers around, you might want to put something that's got some movers underneath it, or some things that have little wheels on them.
All good tips to think about, but don't let not having land discourage you. There are plenty of options with containers, and if you have any questions about container gardening, make sure to contact your local extension office. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.